Welcome, everyone. Okay, I would like to start off by asking you all one question. That is, how are you showing up today? Well, I know you're all physically here. However, where's your mind? And are you really present right now? Well, last month, I had the opportunity to discuss this topic with MIT thought leader, Mr. Peter Singh, the lovely gentleman in the middle of that photo, alongside 200 educators from local and international schools across Hong Kong. Now, you're probably wondering why some principals, teachers, and NGO representatives all gathered in this assembly hall and listened to this 15-year-old from Yucheng International School speak. Well, that is because educators both within Hong Kong and abroad have realized that by listening to the youth, like myself, and their lived experiences is vitally needed to tackle this problem of stress before exams, especially amongst teens. Okay, now let's revisit this question of how are we showing up today. This brings me to a case study, which Ms. Meta Miriam Bowl has once said, who works on the forefront of trying to tackle this issue alongside Mr. Peter Singh. So it says the US reported historically high rates of depression, anxiety, and mental distress among teenagers. Now, this has escalated to becoming a global issue and is calling for all of our attention. Well, to understand this, we need to know what is causing the pressure for the youth today. Well, to begin with, it is the continuous testings and exams, as we're all trying to compete for limited spaces in prestigious institutions. Also, we can have a brighter future. Now, what does this create? To put it simply, it creates a domino effect. To elaborate on that point, it starts by causing disruptions to sleep, then an imbalance of free time, and ultimately an over reliance on digital technology. So to answer this question, every day I am showing up to school physically alongside with my peers. However, as you can all probably guess, nobody's mentally, nor physically, nor emotionally showing up very well. This is such a problem in Hong Kong. That is why over 200 educators gathered in May to raise awareness of this issue to other educators and the youth, like myself. This is where Mr. Peter Singh and Ms. Meta Miriam Bowles' compassionate systems thinking tools comes in. Okay, so what the compassionate systems thinking tool is, as its name suggests, is a set of tools that allow you to understand the science of well-being, our sense of connectedness to the present, and get a better grasp of the importance of compassion to ourselves and the world, those around us. Okay, and after being exposed to the compassionate systems, it has allowed me to realize if I wanted to see change in the community, I had to start by myself. Okay, now this brings me to the iceberg model, one of the tools that resonates with me the best. So this tool basically allows you to examine an event, which as a metaphor is what's visible above the ice cold waters. And also acknowledge that we often overlook that there's a lot of things, a big chunk of ice that hides under the surface. Now, these include patterns, behaviors, structures, and mental models that lurk beneath the surface to help produce the event. Let's try to apply this to solving mental health and addressing mental health. So we'll be able to look beyond the surface and understand the deeper layers of mental health problems. So let's zoom in on the tip of the iceberg. What can we see? Let's try to apply it to myself. These are anxiety attacks. These are depressive episodes or moments of intense stress. Now, lurking beneath the surface are patterns and trends. These are basically recurring behaviors in our lives. Now, these include stress for exams, staying up late to study, or feelings of inadequacy when you don't get the score you want. And understanding these will be able to allow you to know that there are actually underlying structures. So what are underlying structures? They're basically frameworks that shape our patterns and behaviors. Let's apply this to tests. Well, these are societal norms, educational pressures, and obviously family expectations. At the very base are mental models, which are deeply held beliefs and assumptions. These include I must reach the expectations of my parents, or as a young person, I feel my whole future is dependent on how I perform in exams. Okay, now it's time to revisit this question of how are you showing up today? I'll try to answer this. By implementing the compassionate systems thinking tools, we can increase self-awareness and better understand ways which I can show up. This doesn't only apply to me, this can apply to every single one of you here. I'd like to end off with a little fun analogy. Just like when there's a decrease in cabin pressure on the plane, you're always advised to put on the mask for yourself before you try to help those around us. I believe the same concept applies when you want to see wholeness and bring change to the communities around you. You always have to start by bettering and improving yourself. Okay, now hopefully you all have a question to how are you showing up today. This will be the end. Thank you.